Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? This child that you delivered will soon deliver you. Hey, everybody, welcome back. Another episode of A New Christian's Walk with the Word, episode 77. Thank you for those of you who tuned in last night. Actually, I don't think anybody tuned in last night. But it was a short show. It was only a couple minutes. Just stopping in to say hi and check up on everybody. And just thank you. Just give thanks for everybody and to Jesus. And so here we are again today. Today we are on and right there, Leviticus chapter 13. I kind of looked at it. I'm sorry, everyone. Looks like it's going to be another couple of boring chapters, but it is what it is. They can't all be awesome chapters, can they? But before we get into that, I would like to play this little video that I saw, and I thought it was so memorable that I clipped it and sent. I always send myself stuff on WhatsApp. So here we go. Let me pull this up. Watch this. This is pretty good.
Trying to get reconnected with God. Even though
Whoa, watch this.
I used to be a raging atheist, bro. Always made fun of people that had their hands up like this at church. Till one day, dude, December 2nd, 2015, bro. In my shower, crying, bro. I was upset. Had some stuff going on, okay? I started singing a song from Vacation Bible School in the shower, okay? I'm like trying to get reconnected with God, even though I didn't believe in him at all. I get out of the shower. I find a Bible. I open the Bible, and the sun projects light onto the freaking Bible. And I was like, this is weird. Open up the Bible. First thing I see, you should love your neighbor with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind. It was the lyrics to the song I was singing in the shower. So I say, Jesus, are you watching me? And my phone gets a text and goes ding at that exact second. Then I say, Jesus, is that you? My phone goes ding. And then I say, you can communicate to us through our phones. And my phone goes ding again. You guys, I am telling you, I died. I died right there. Okay. My eyes have not looked the same since. Okay. In that moment, it was baptism by fire, bro. My tongue, I could not talk. My throat was complete. I was realizing in that moment, Jesus is real. All these things, all these awful things I had said, all these years and years wasted. I was like 23 or something when I realized, dude. So I found a YouTube video where it said, call this number and get saved. So I called the number. I couldn't even talk on the phone, bro. The guy was so nice. He was like, oh, this happens all the time. I'm just going to pray this prayer with you. Dude, that's how Jesus got me. He's real.
Whoa, watch this.
Oh, sorry. I had to share that. I thought that was great. Just another day for you out there. What do you mean by that, Cerberus? Where's out there? Where's out there? Thanks for joining me again, everybody. We do have a couple of, like I said, I kind of skimmed it a little bit. Pretty boring couple of chapters that we have ahead of us, dealing with lepers and leprosy. So something tells me it's going to get interesting. But hopefully it's more interesting than boring. Let's just go with that. So, Well, in the middle. Oh, you're in the Middle East for work. Oh, gotcha. There would be kind of a. Yeah, I get what you're saying. All right. Now I get what you're saying. Same old, same old. All right. So, wait. Best to treat holidays like regular days while traveling for work. Keeps things easy. Well, that makes sense. You know, especially if you're the only one out there that celebrates it. All right, here we go. Before we start the reading, we have to do our customary prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your word. Please bless it to our understanding. Please breathe your breath of life into it, that it may breathe into us. Let it be a light unto our path and a lamp unto our feet. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. So we're just going to get right on into it. My wife is on her way home right now with her granddaughter. Of course, I said, babe, you're going to come walking in right in the middle of my live. She's like, oh, we'll be quiet. Yeah, we'll see about that. Oh, I see a YouTube viewer. Am I for her? We'll see how quiet she is. You guys will be witness to it. All right, here we go. Chapter 13, the law concerning leprosy. Fun. All right. And the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, when a man has on the skin of his body a swelling, a scab, or a bright spot, and it becomes on the skin of his body like a leprous sore, then he shall be brought to Aaron the priest, or to one of his sons the priests. The priest shall examine the sore on the skin of the body, and if the hair on the sore has turned white, and the sore appears to be deeper than the skin of his body, it is a leprous sore. Then the priest shall examine him and pronounce him unclean. But if the bright spot is white on the skin of his body and does not appear to be deeper than the skin, and its hair has not turned white, then the priest shall isolate the one who has the sore 7 days. And the priest shall examine him on the 7th day. And indeed, if the sore appears to be as it was, and the sore has not spread on the skin, then the priest shall isolate him another 7 days. 2 weeks to slow the spread. All right. Never mind. Another 7 days. Then the priest shall examine him again on the 7th day. And indeed, if the sore has faded, and the sore has not spread on the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him clean. It is only a scab, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the scab should at all spread over the skin, after he has been seen by the priest for his cleansing, he shall be seen by the priest again. And if the priest sees that the scab has indeed spread on the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is leprosy. When the leprous sore is on a person, then he shall be brought to the priest, and the priest shall examine him. And indeed, if the swelling on the skin is white, and it has turned the hair white, and there is a spot of raw flesh in the swelling, it is an old leprosy on the skin of the body. The priest shall pronounce him unclean and shall not isolate him, for he is unclean. Well, right on, brother. Thank you for listening. All the way from the Middle East. That's nice. I got a listener from Northern Ireland. That's pretty cool. Now we got somebody in the Middle East. That's awesome. All right, here we go. By the way, hit that thumbs up like button if you don't mind. Yeah, no kidding. Amen to that. All right. And if leprosy breaks out all over the skin, and the leprosy covers all of the skin of the one who has been sore, from his head to his foot, wherever the priest looks, then the priest shall consider. And indeed, if the leprosy has covered all his body, he shall pronounce him clean who has the sore. It has all turned white. He is clean. But when raw flesh appears on him, he shall be unclean. And the priest shall examine the raw flesh and pronounce him to be unclean. For the raw flesh is unclean. It is leprosy. Or if the raw flesh changes and turns white again, he shall come to the priest, and the priest shall examine him. And indeed, if the sore has turned white, then the priest shall pronounce him clean. Who has the sore? He is clean. If the body develops a boil in the skin, and it is healed, and in the place of the boil there comes a white swelling or a bright spot, reddish white, then it shall be shown to the priest. And if, when the priest sees it, it indeed appears deeper than the skin, and its hair has turned white, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous sore which has broken out of the boil. But if the priest examines it, and indeed there are no white hairs in it, and it is not deeper than the skin, but has faded, then the priest shall isolate him 7 days. And if it should at all spread over the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous sore. But if the bright spot stays in one place and has not spread, and it is the scar of the boil, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. Or if the body receives a burn on its skin by fire, and the raw flesh of the skin becomes a bright spot, reddish white or white, then the priest shall examine it. And indeed, if the hair of the bright spot has turned white, and it appears deeper than the skin, it is leprosy broken out in the burn. Therefore, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous sore. But if the priest examines it, and indeed there are no white hairs in the bright spot, and it is not deeper than the skin, but has faded, then the priest shall isolate him 7 days. And the priest shall examine him on the 7th day, and if it has at all spread over the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous sore. But if the bright spot stays in one place and has not spread on the skin but has faded, it is a swelling from the burn. The priest shall pronounce him clean, for it is the scar from the burn. Nice. All right. If a man or a woman has a sore on the head or the beard, I'm guessing he means chin. I've never had a sore on my beard. Then the priest shall examine the sore. And indeed, if it appears deeper than the skin, and if there is a thin yellow hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a scaly leprosy of the head or beard. But if the priest examines the scaly sore, and indeed it does not appear deeper than the skin, and there is no black hair in it, then the priest shall isolate the one who has the scale 7 days. And on the 7th day the priest shall examine the sore, and indeed if the scale has not spread, and there is no yellow hair in it, and the scale does not appear deeper than the skin, he shall shave himself, but the scale he shall not shave. Sorry. Don't shave the scales. All right. And the priest shall isolate the one who has the scale another 7 days. On the 7th day, the priest shall examine the scale, and indeed, if the scale has not spread over the skin, and does not appear deeper than the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him clean. He shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the scale should at all spread over the skin after his cleansing, then the priest shall examine him. And indeed, if the scale has spread over the skin, the priest need not seek for yellow hair. He is unclean. But if the scale appears to be at a standstill, and there is black hair grown up in it, the scale has healed. He is clean, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. If a man or a woman has bright spots on the skin of the body, specifically white bright spots, then the priest shall look, and indeed, if the bright spots on the skin of the body are dull white, it is a white spot that grows on the skin. He is clean. As for the man whose hair has fallen from his head, he is bald, but he is clean. He whose hair has fallen from his forehead, he is bald on the forehead, but he is clean. And if there is on the bald head, okay, hang on. And if there is on the bald head or bald forehead a reddish white sore, it is leprosy breaking out on the bald head or his bald forehead. Then the priest shall examine it, and indeed, if the swelling of the sore is reddish white on his bald head or on his bald forehead, as the appearance of leprosy on the skin of the body, he is a leprous man. He is unclean. The priest shall surely pronounce him unclean. His sore is on his head. Okay. Now the leper on whom the sore is, his clothes shall be torn and his head bare, and he shall cover his mustache and cry, "Unclean, unclean." That's messed up. I'm going to read that again. Now the leper on whom the sore is, his clothes shall be torn and his head bare, and he shall cover his mustache and cry, "Unclean, unclean." That's messed up. He shall be unclean. All the days he has the sore, he shall be unclean. He is unclean, and he shall dwell alone. His dwelling shall be outside the camp. I mean, you could just make him stay outside the camp without humiliating him. That is weird. All right. Maybe it's not as boring as I thought. Okay. The law concerning leprous garments. Also, if a garment has a leprous plague in it, whether it is a woolen garment or a linen garment, whether it is the warp or woof of linen or wool, whether in leather or in anything made of leather, and if the plague is greenish or reddish in the garment or in the leather, whether in the warp or in the woof, or in anything made of leather, it is a leprous plague and shall be shown to the priest. The priest shall examine the plague and isolate that which has the plague 7 days. And he shall examine the plague on the 7th day. If the plague has spread in the garment, whether in the warp or in the woof, in the leather or in anything made of leather, the plague is an active leprosy. It is unclean. He shall therefore burn that garment in which is the plague, whether warp or woof, in wool or in linen or anything of leather, for it is an active leprosy. The garment shall be burned in the fire. But if the priest examines it, and indeed the plague has not spread in the garment, either in the warp or in the woof, now the warp, W-A-R-P, or in the woof, W-O-O-F, woof. Okay. or in anything made of leather, then the priest shall command that they wash the thing in which is the plague, and he shall isolate it another 7 days. Then the priest shall examine the plague after it has been washed, and indeed, if the plague has not changed its color, though the plague has not spread, it is unclean. You shall burn it in the fire. Wait a minute. And indeed, if the plague has not changed its color, though the plague has not spread, it is unclean, and you shall burn it in the fire. It continues eating away, whether the damage is outside or inside. If the priest examines it, and indeed the plague has faded after washing it, then he shall tear it out of the garment, whether out of the warp, or out of the woof, or out of the leather. But if it appears again in the garment, either in the warp or in the woof, or in anything made of leather, it is a spreading plague. You shall burn it with fire in that which is the plague. And if you wash the garment, either warp or woof, and whatever is made of leather, and if the plague has disappeared from it, then it shall be washed a second time, and shall be clean. This is the law of the leprous plague in a garment of wool or linen, either in the warp or woof, or in anything made of leather, to pronounce it clean or to pronounce it unclean. Whew. That was that was more fun of a chapter than I expected it to be. But yeah, that's an interesting chapter. All right, let's just keep going. Chapter 14, the ritual for cleansing healed lepers. Now, I thought leprosy wasn't, I didn't know that there was a cure for leprosy. Well, obviously, there must be. We don't have lepers anymore, so there must be a cure, right? Oh, hey, I think they're homely. All right. Get her, Jazzy. Hi.
Hi.
All right. So, all right, we'll get right into chapter 14. Here we go. Buffers. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, This shall be the law of the leper for the day of his cleansing. He shall be brought to the priest, and the priest shall go out of the camp, and the priest shall examine him. And indeed, if the leprosy is healed in the leper, then the priest shall command to take for him who is to be cleansed 2 living and clean birds, cedar wood, scarlet, and hyssop. And the priest shall command that one of the birds be killed in an earthen vessel over running water. As for the living bird, he shall take it, the cedar wood, and the scarlet by the hyssop, and dip them and the living bird in the blood of the bird that was killed over the running water. And he shall sprinkle it 7 times on him who is to be cleansed from the leprosy, and shall pronounce him clean, and shall let the living bird loose in the open field. He who is to be cleansed shall wash his clothes, shave off all his hair, and wash himself in water, that he may be clean. After that he shall come into the camp, and shall stay outside his tent 7 days. But on the 7th day he shall shave all the hair off his head, and his beard, and his eyebrows. All his hair he shall shave off. He shall wash his clothes, and wash his body in water, and he shall be clean. And on the 7th day he shall take 2 male lambs without blemish, 1 ewe lamb of the first year without blemish, 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering, and 1 log of oil. Then the priest who makes him clean shall present the man who is to be made clean, and those things before the Lord at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. And the priest shall take one male lamb and offer it as a trespass offering, and the log of oil, and wave them as a wave offering before the Lord. Then he shall kill the lamb in the place where he kills the sin offering and the burnt offering in a holy place. For as a sin offering is the priest's, so is the trespass offering. It is most holy. The priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering, and the priest shall put it on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. And the priest shall take some of the log of oil and pour it into the palm of his own left hand. Then the priest shall dip his right finger in the oil that is in his left hand, and shall sprinkle some of the oil with his finger 7 times before the Lord. And of the rest of the oil in his hand, the priest shall put some on the tip of the right ear of he who is to be cleansed, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot, on the blood of the trespass offering. The rest of the oil that is in the priest's hand he shall put on the head of him who is to be cleansed. So the priest shall make atonement for him before the Lord. Then the priest shall offer the sin offering and make atonement for him who is to be cleansed from his uncleanness. Afterward, he shall kill the burnt offering, and the priest shall offer the burnt offering and the grain offering on the altar. So the priest shall make atonement for him, and he shall be clean. But, always a but, if he is poor and cannot afford it, got distracted. Then he shall take one male lamb as a trespass offering to be waved, to make atonement for him. 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering, a log of oil, and 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, such as he is able to afford. One shall be a sin offering, and the other a burnt offering. He shall bring them to the priest on the 8th day for his cleansing, to the door of the tabernacle of meeting before the Lord. And the priest shall take the lamb of the trespass offering and the log of oil, and the priest shall wave them as a wave offering before the Lord. Then he shall kill the lamb of the trespass offering, and the priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering and put it on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, on the right thumb, or on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. And the priest shall pour some of the oil into the palm of his own left hand. Then the priest shall sprinkle with his right finger some of the oil that in his left hand 7 times before the Lord. And the priest shall put some of the oil that is in his hand on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot, on the place of the blood of the trespass offering. The rest of the oil that is in the priest's hands he shall put on the head of him who is to be cleansed, to make atonement for him before the Lord. And he shall offer one of the turtle doves or young pigeons, such as he can afford, such as he is able to afford, the one as a sin offering, and the other as a burnt offering, with the grain offering. So the priest shall make atonement for him who is to be cleansed before the Lord. This is the law for one who had a leprous sore, who cannot afford the usual cleansing. The law concerning leprous houses. And the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, When you have come into the land of Canaan, which I give you as a possession, and I put the leprous plague in a house in the land of your possession, And he who owns the house comes and tells the priest, saying, "It seems to me that there is some plague in the house." Then the priest shall command that they empty the house before the priest goes into it to examine the plague, that all that is in the house may not be made unclean. And afterward the priest shall go in and examine, or go in to examine the house. And he shall examine the plague, and indeed, if the plague is on the walls of the house with ingrained streaks, greenish or reddish, which appear to be deep in the wall, then the priest shall go out of the house to the door of the house and shut up the house 7 days. And the priest shall come again on the 7th day and look. And indeed, if the plague has spread on the walls of the house, then the priest shall command that they take away the stones in which is the plague, and they shall cast them into an unclean place outside the city. And he shall cause the house to be scraped inside all around, and the dust that they scrape off they shall pour out in an unclean place outside the city. Then they shall take other stones and put them in the place of those stones, and he shall take other mortar and plaster the house. Now, if the plague comes back and breaks out in the house, after he has taken away the stones, after he has scraped the house, and after it is plastered, then the priest shall come and look. And indeed, if the plague has spread in the house, it is an active leprosy in the house. It is unclean. And he shall break down the house, its stones, its timber, and all the plaster of the house, and he shall carry them outside the city to an unclean place. Moreover, he who goes into the house at all while it is shut up shall be unclean until evening. And he who lies down in the house shall wash his clothes, and he who eats in the house shall wash his clothes. But if the priest comes in and examines it, and indeed the plague has not spread in the house after the house has been plastered, then the priest shall pronounce the house clean, because the plague is healed. And he shall take to cleanse the house 2 birds, cedar wood, scarlet, and hyssop. Then he shall kill one of the birds in an earthen vessel over running water, and he shall take the cedar wood and hyssop, or he shall take the cedar wood, the hyssop, the scarlet, and the living bird, and dip them in the blood of the slain bird and in the running water, and sprinkle the house 7 times. And he shall cleanse the house with the blood of the bird, and the running water, and the living bird, with the cedar wood, the hyssop, and the scarlet. Then he shall let the living bird loose outside the city in the open field, and make atonement for the house, and it shall be clean. This is the law for any leprous sore and scale, for the leprosy of a garment and of a house, for a swelling and a scab and a bright spot, to teach when it is unclean and when it is clean. This is the law of leprosy. Whew. Okay. The title of the next one, The Law Concerning Bodily Discharges. All right. Oh boy, here we go. How long is this one? Okay, it's not as long as the last one. That last one. Whew. Although I must say, I think my reading is getting better. It's a bacterial infection that affects skin, eyes, and the nervous system, but it is curable with current medicine. Oh, okay. Yeah, I always thought it caused limbs to fall off. Reminds me of a joke that is not appropriate for this show that my dad told me. But yeah, not appropriate, but funny. Anyways, all right. Chapter 15, The law concerning bodily discharges. Here we go. And the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, when a man has a discharge from his body, his discharge is unclean. And this shall be his uncleanness in regard to his discharge, whether his body runs with his discharge or his body is stopped up by his discharge. It is his uncleanness. Every bed is unclean on which he who every bed is unclean on which he who has had the discharge lies, and everything on which he sits shall be unclean. And whoever touches his bed shall wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. He who sits on anything which he who has the discharge sat shall wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. And he who touches the body of him who has the discharge shall wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. If he who has the discharge spits on him who is clean, then he shall wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. Any saddle on which he who has the discharge rides shall be unclean. Whoever touches anything that was under him shall be unclean until evening. He who carries any of those things shall wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. And whomever the one who has the discharge touches, and has not rinsed his hands in water, he shall wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. Boy, the vessel of earth that he who has the discharge touches shall be broken, and every vessel of wood shall be rinsed in water. And when he who has a discharge is cleansed of his discharge, then he shall count for himself 7 days for his cleansing, wash his clothes, and bathe his body in running water. Then he shall be clean. On the 8th day he shall take for himself 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, and come before the Lord to the door of the tabernacle of meeting, and give them to the priest. The priest shall offer them, one as a sin offering and the other as a burnt offering. So the priest shall make atonement for him before the Lord because of his discharge. If any man has an emission of semen, then he shall wash all his body in water, and be unclean until evening. And any garment and any leather on which there is semen, it shall be washed with water, and be unclean until evening. Also, when a woman lies with a man, and there is an emission of semen, they shall bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. If a woman has a discharge, and the discharge from her body is blood, she shall set apart 7 days, and whomever touches her shall be unclean until evening. Everything that she lies on during her impurity shall be unclean. Also, everything that she sits on shall be unclean. Whoever touches her bed shall wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. And whoever touches anything that she sat on shall wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. If anything is on her bed or on anything on which she sits, when he touches it, he shall be unclean until evening. And if any man lies with her at all, so that her impurity is on him, he shall be unclean 7 days, and every bed on which he lies shall be unclean. If a woman has a discharge of blood for many days, other than at the time of her customary impurity, or if it runs beyond her usual time of impurity, all the days of her unclean discharge shall be as the days of her customary impurity. She shall be unclean. Every bed on which she lies all the days of her discharge shall be to her as the bed of her impurity, and whatever she sits, whatever she sits on shall be unclean, as the uncleanness of her impurity. Whoever touches those things shall be unclean. He shall wash his clothes and bathe in water and be unclean until evening. But if she is cleansed of her discharge, then she shall count for herself 7 days, and after that she shall be clean. And on the 8th day she shall take for herself 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, and bring them to the priest to the door of the tabernacle of meeting. Then the priest shall offer them as one then the priest shall offer the one as a sin offering and the other as a burnt offering. And the priest shall make atonement for her before the Lord for the discharge of her uncleanness. Thus you shall separate the children of Israel from their uncleanness, lest they die in their uncleanness when they defile my tabernacle that is among them. This is the law for one who has a discharge, and for him who emits semen and is unclean thereby, and for her who is indisposed because of her customary impurity, and for one who has a discharge, either man or woman, and for him who lies with her who is unclean. Whew, man. All right. That's our reading for tonight. Those were a rough couple of chapters. All right, so we shall do our daily devotional. Oh, hey, I got it wrong. I forgot to change that. It's the 26th. 6th. All right, bam, there we go. Our daily devotional from the Jesus Calling book by Sarah Young. December 26th. All right, here we go. I am the gift that continuously gives, bounteously, with no strings attached. Unconditional love is such a radical concept that even my most devoted followers fail to grasp it fully. Absolutely nothing in heaven or on earth can cause me to stop loving you. You may feel more loved when you are performing according to your expectations, but my love for you is perfect. Therefore, it is not subject to variation. What does vary is your awareness of my loving presence. When you are dissatisfied with your behavior, you tend to feel unworthy of my love. You may unconsciously punish yourself by withdrawing from me and attributing the distance between us to my displeasure. Instead of returning to me and receiving my love, you attempt to earn my approval by trying harder. All the while, I am aching to hold you in my everlasting arms, to enfold you in my love. When you are feeling unworthy or unloved, come to me. Then ask for receptivity to my unfailing love. All right, first scripture is 1 John chapter 4, verses 15, 16, and 18. If anyone acknowledges that Jesus is the Son of God, God lives in him and he in God. And so we know and rely on the love God has for us. God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God, and God in him. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. Well, I'm definitely not made perfect in love. I definitely, yeah, definitely worry about things I've done in my past and what it's going to mean for me when I'm held to account. But all I can do is move forward. All right, next one is Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 27. The eternal God is your refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. And our last one for tonight is Psalm 13:5. But I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is our show for tonight. I'm going to go check in with the wife and see if she has anything else that needs to be unloaded from the car, husbandly duties and all that stuff. But thanks again for coming. I really appreciate it. Please hit the thumbs up button, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. And I hope to see you again on Monday. I will be out of town this weekend for work. I'm staying at a hotel. My pleasure, Cerberus. My pleasure. And thank you for taking the time to watch. That's very important to me. So because of that, and because of people that take the time out of their busy schedules to watch a show like this, it convicts me, it convicts me, makes me not want to take off those weekday nights, like not want to, Christmas is on a Thursday. I need to be going live on Thursday at 7, even if it's on Christmas, even if it's just for a minute, just to honor my commitment to all of you who take the time to come here and share this with me. So I really appreciate all of you. Thank you very much. God bless you. I hope to see you again on Monday, 7 p.m. And I'll be here. Hope you are too. All right, everyone. God bless you. Good night. Love y'all. Be safe out there, Cerberus. See you Monday.